Sure, folks, let's pray. God, we just acknowledge you this evening and throughout our lives. We want to just honor you in all that we do. Lord, as we meet tonight, we just pray for our mayor, our staff. We pray for our city departments, and we pray for our citizens, especially those tonight, Lord, who would be speaking in front of council. We just ask your blessing on everyone, and may all live in harmony and speak in peace and with respect. God, may all of us just work together for the common good. And even as we do, Lord, help us to also strive toward harmonious accord with our sister cities. We ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right on. Opportunity to welcome everyone tonight. It's always nice to see a group crowd with us. If I could, I have a roll call, please.
Kenny Edmondson. Brenda Felix. Clay Tucker.
Present.
Ron Maddox.
Here.
Alderman Sarah Clemens and Jim Henry.
All right, that constitutes a quorum. Our city attorney is out of the country presently, so he's not here with us. So we're flying on autopilot tonight, legally speaking. Do you have a copy of the minutes before you?
The agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry, I meant, that's what I meant. All right, you have a copy of the agenda in front of you. Is there anything that needs to be added to the agenda?
Yes, I'm still wanting to know about walking on the ridge.
It's in reports. If not, I'd entertain a motion to accept the agenda. Motion by Kenny, is there a second? Second by Clay, all in favor? All right, motion carried. Now, the minutes. For those of you who haven't, I'll put the minutes up on the screen. If you haven't had a chance to read them, we get down to the good stuff. This was the second meeting, so they weren't in reports. Really good. Take a second to look through this, and I'd entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented unless there's an additional correction.
I move we accept the minutes presented.
All right, is there a second on? Second by Ron, all in favor? All right, motion carries. All right, we'll get into reports. Chief Smith?
For the month of October, we had 123 responses. All but 11 were EMS runs. One report was structure fire that was down in the Sherman area. If you look over toward the EMS incident response, you go down the line, there says traffic collisions, MDC. We had 9 last month. Time of year, people commuting, going to and from vacations, that kind of stuff. A lot more accidents in the area. Plus, I think Ken said something here. A couple weeks ago back when it rains now, it really rains. We've noticed a couple of places on the interstate that when it rains like it does anymore, there are some ponding and some pooling and some hydroplaning. I've been to the State Highway Department and talked with the people up there about them areas in our area to hopefully, maybe they'll do something with it, I don't know, but just let them know about it. And I know that Chief Wellens also talked to them about some of the areas in his interstate, his area also. So any questions on the monthly August?
On the St. Elizabeth to Florence, was that AMR?
No, that's us. They're all us. Yes, if they're on my report, they are what we do. Okay? So.
All right, any other questions? for Chief Smith? Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Chief Kells?
And there's your monthly statistics, just to go, if you have any questions on insurance.
Any questions for Chief Kells? All right, thank you, Chief. Robbie, we got 2 test reports on here. We can go through these test reports. Do you have anything that you need to add, or?
Just the 2 monthly reports. I also got stage 2 that they haven't returned yet. It should be fine also. And then I still want to ask you, we clarified about the radio reads in the previous, whether we're giving everybody still one more chance on.
I think the council's request was to let everyone know, or to let everyone know again, to be cautious, and that's what we took care of in the newsletter.
Okay.
The ordinance doesn't allow for billing. If the council wants to change that, to set a rate for damage to the radio read equipment, we can certainly discuss that. Current ordinance doesn't allow for that.
Like $25?
Rob, what are those?
$28 for the top that everybody mows off.
28?
28. And then we had it broke down for each speed supervisor. We're done at like $300 and I got like 10 each. And then I have not, like, if it gets deeper into the radio read, that's the battery itself, and that's usually $145. So occasionally we've had a couple of those happen, but mostly it's just in tops. But I didn't know if you all want to continue.
Mine is so low to the ground, I couldn't hit with the lawnmower.
There's some that's up and they get done.
Well, there's a lot of them that are in driveways or parking lots that if somebody parks on it, turns the wheels, will break them. They're pretty tough if you just drive it over. But if you hit them with the lawnmower,
I think some ought to be done if some people are making a habit of it.
I agree. And I mean, we had talked about that early on, but I think the council's recommendation at that time was to just let everyone know to be more cautious, more careful. And I think we addressed that in the newsletter last month. Now, if you want to follow that up with a replacement cost to that, we can certainly do that. What's the cost of the council?
Well, let it just one out.
It's going to be kind of hard to deal with somebody if it's in the parking lot and they're turning on. I mean, it's not fair to the, let's just say, let's just go for it and then you say, it's not fair to look at somebody pulling in a lot of road stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, the alternative is that we just do what we've already done and replace them as we go. You've gone through quite a few.
Yes.
I don't know what that number is.
Do you have one that continues to break?
Yeah.
Is it a business or resident?
It's in the parking lot.
Are they right there?
No, it's not that one. But it gets broke quite often.
Is there any way, anything over to protect it? So it's just in the parking lot?
Well, it's an antenna, so you recess it in the ground and cover it with a piece of steel. It'll cut down on the signal being sent out.
Okay, then maybe you need to go back to the old fashioned way.
And they had the same problem, they just wanted to have They were the same problem. All right, we'll carry this on to another time. Council, think about that. If you do want to make a change, then we'll bring it up in another meeting. Rob, you have anything else you want to add?
No.
All right. Ken, I'm sorry your sewer report did not get attached for some reason. You handed it to me today.
Okay.
And I looked at it. Do you remember what it was?
We just had one 9-hole clog up in Redwood.
Okay.
That I wanted to report, 203, debris, got it unclogged. Other than that, we didn't have anything else.
Other than that, you did have one sewer test report that came back, and it looked like everything was within limits. Everything was fine. Anybody have anything from Ken?
Where are we at with the grinders and things that we do?
They're being built, the panels are being built, and the pumps are being built, should be sometime mid-late October.
All right, cool.
All right, Barry, anything for us for roads?
No, other than talking about School Street or School Street later.
All right, in parks, you've been waiting for this for a while. I'm sorry, it's just been something we needed to put together. But all right, here are the numbers from the Rock and Ridge event for 2018. And what I'll show you here is the revenues, expenses, and I've also got what the approved budget amounts were for each of those line items. The end of the day, we were our costs were $34,409. That's what we were. That's what our expenses were to provide the event. Outside of what revenues we had, you can see we generated almost $54,000 in revenue for the event, which is about $40,000, a little over $41,000 more than what we had anticipated, because we weren't sure where that sponsorship level was going to be. On the expenses side, our expenses were about $88,000 for that. When you offset those two, that gives you that difference of $34,000. So,
Where did you get the sponsors $36,000?
sponsors would be anybody that.
Is that what Robin did?
That would be Robin. That would be In Kind. That would be the Arts Rental. Pretty much anybody that was on any of the banners. That's what their contribution levels were.
Okay. Well, she texted me and said that she only brought in $12,500.
She very well could have, just on the sponsorships that she had contracts for. A lot of those revenues that we realize is in the sponsor line item are the sponsorships that we get for the equipment and the fuels and things like that. Those are a lot of the big expenses in the infrastructure also.
You get the stage on there?
Stage is part of infrastructure. Everything that goes into that $18,000 for infrastructure is the stage, the setup and tear down of it, the bathrooms, the portalets, the street sweeper. Those
See,
are.
I just got a different number. Because I got the street sweeper, of course I got, of course, 752, but plus the security, all the security, you have that up there?
The security we didn't break out in one of these line items because a lot of that is factored into the police department budget, fire department budget. It's accounted for in their overtime budgets.
Because I have over 13,000 for the security, and you're going to put 13,000 on the police department?
And the balance of that is, a lot of that comes out of the infrastructure. What is associated with putting that together? A lot of those overtime costs are charged to the different departments for their expenses. That $12,000 that you might have for security, that's paying overtime for 4 officers for 12 hours that day. That's a big chunk of that goes to the police department out of that $12,000.
There's still a cost associated with the Rockin' on the Ridge.
What, for overtime?
Yeah. If they hadn't had Rockin' on the Ridge, it wouldn't have been there.
Okay.
Right?
You asked for numbers, what it costs to put the event on. These are the numbers that comes back. If you want me to go down, I'm not sure what you're looking for. Do you want to see what the percentage of insurance costs for every employee during this time period? I mean, I can break this down as far as you want, but tell me what you're looking for, because these are the numbers that you keep asking me for.
I'd like to see it itemized.
Hang on a second, sir.
I'm sorry. I mean, I agree with him, but, just the numbers I have, because when you told us at the last meeting, back in July, or 1st of August, you said that the vendor sponsors were $35,000. And that, our total loss was 25. But, I've been looking over these POs and what I have, I said we lost about $60,000. That's not including everybody's pay. Okay, with that said, okay, let's just say, I'm sorry, I'd like to see it lined items, like you
And it's
said.
presented to you. It's presented to you on a monthly basis in reports.
No, not on the, I cannot find the POs on the report. I cannot find the POs. I mean, you have, I mean, if you want to show me, if you want to go back and show me the POs, like for April, for June, you know, please show me that I'm wrong. I appreciate it. But when it, you know, just say for instance, just say you're right, I disagree with that number. All right, I disagree, because I think that's a hell of a lot more than that. All right, let's just say you're right. I'll be that way, but, okay, let's just say that number's correct. So for 2018, we lost $34,000, right?
Well, you might want to clarify what you consider a loss.
Okay, well.
There's about 15,000 people that really didn't think that it was
No,
a loss.
I don't want to go with 15,000 people, because there's not 15,000 people in the city of Dry Ridge.
You're right.
I'm more concerned,
So there's
I know-
12,000 people that didn't live in Dry Ridge that came and spent money here in this economy. There's a lot of the numbers that you can't justify in any of these charts is what the economic impact was of an event.
I understand that,
Okay.
okay? I just want taxpayers, the citizens of Dry Ridge to know what.
I think they do. It's right here.
Well, no, yeah, but they did now, they want to know before. And just like with last
instance,
year, wait,
Yes.
please. Just like for last year, this was handed to us. This shows, you know, we lost $41,505. Okay?
Last year?
That's what it says, 2017. Okay? So 2016 was our first year. And if I remember correctly, we lost about $40,000. Okay? I just, you know, I like the concept of Rockin' Ridge. I really do. Do I think we spend too much money on it? Yes, I do. I think we need to tone it down. But my concern is the citizens, taxpayers of Dry Ridge just knowing what we spend. That's all. If all the citizens come in and say, hey, we want it, we like it, spend the money, I'm fine with that. But I think they need to know. That's all.
I can't disagree with that. Like I said, we publish the numbers every year. It took us a little bit longer this year because we had a lot of things. I had these numbers for you at the last meeting. There were 12 items on the agenda, and we were here for 2.5 hours. That's the reason why we bumped this to the next agenda. So,
Okay, well, I'd like to know when we'll be able to get it to line item.
a lot of companies don't invoice us, and that's what a lot of the delay is we have this event the last day, well, some of this is the last week before the end of the fiscal year.
I understand.
So it takes a month's billing cycle before we even get the. So on some don't know till the end of July, 1st of August. So, and I had this chart for you in the middle of August. But we just didn't have time to bring this up.
Wow.
You mean we
I'm
don't,
done being a broken record. I'm done.
you mean we don't know what we're gonna pay these people until we get an invoice from them?
No, we know exactly what we're going to pay.
Well,
Most of the ones
what
we have.
what is the problem with putting that out?
Do you want accurate numbers?
I want to see what every dime up there was spent for. Itemized. That's what I'd like to see. And I'd like to see every item where the money was made.
Okay, well, I'm
And
presenting.
you're talking, and let me
presenting the
finish, you're talking
information.
about the people that came in to see it.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt, but I would like to add. For next Rockin' Ridge, is Naked Karate Girls the only one that we have on?
Well, there's committee meetings that meet every month. We've already had one committee meeting, and I don't believe you attended.
No, never knew.
Never knew?
Never knew the committee, no. No, and I'll tell you why I don't, for one, the committee meetings, no, for the next year, did you have a committee meeting?
Yes, Kenny did. He texted me that day, and asked me about it.
I knew it said second Tuesday of every month.
Okay. For instance,
I didn't show up because
Well, just take for instance, this last time, when we attended the first rock, or we, both of us missed the first Rock and Ridge meeting, you remember that? Then we went to the second one, you remember that? We sat right here. Everything was already planned out. That's my question, why not go to the Rock and Ridge meeting when everything was already planned out? And that's another question, the citizens want to know, if
The
we're going to
meetings
spend
are
this much.
open, Chris, so the meetings are completely open, they're scheduled,
No,
it's the
no,
second
no,
Tuesday
no.
of every month.
No, I'm not saying
Right
that.
here in this room.
I'm not saying,
Anyone's
that's not what I'm
welcome.
getting at, Jimmy.
Okay, well, what are you getting at?
What I'm getting at is, shoot, I'm blanking. People out here, not just them, other people want to know, how could all this money, spend $40,000 on Gretchen Wilson and it's not brought to the table? So can you explain to citizens why you do that?
Because when you're negotiating contracts like that, that is one of the exclusions to the procurement policy under statute. That those things do not have to come to, and follow the normal procedure of the procurement process. We talked about that the very first year.
That's, I just want to make sure everybody knows, that's all.
And the contracts, when, just so you know how that process works, it takes several months after putting in offers to see which offers are accepted. I welcome you. I welcome anyone who wants to take part in this process. This is a very time-consuming process and benefit for the community. I wish there was a way to reflect the amount of hours that are spent that aren't billed to that.
So if people come in and say, hey, why do you have a Rock and Ridge when we're losing this money? Are you going to say, okay, let's turn it down? If people are going to say, hey, we really wish you'd tone it down. We don't want you spending.
You sit on this council, you're 1/6 of the vote that approves the budget for this line item, or
I'm
for
not
this
saying
event.
that. I am not
You know.
saying that. I'm just asking.
If you'll let me explain, I'm trying to tell you that you are the voice of the folk, of the people, when
Absolutely.
it comes to this process. You are 1/6 of the vote for this. If you feel that it's necessary to cancel the event, then I would encourage you to use your authority as a council person and have the event canceled.
Only thing I recommend.
But I'm not going to have an election based on 3,000 people of the city or whether or not they want to pay $40,000 to have an artist come. That's not how this works. You're the representative of this. So,
Okay.
the very first, let me just show you this. The very first item on this chart, if you look, is the budgeted amount. This budgeted amount. That's what's approved in the budget. One thing you'll notice right there is that at no time did the city exceed the budget line item except for under the artist, and it was exceeded by $948.
Not in the original budget.
In the amended budget, it was.
Yes.
The
And we
original
only
budget.
amended.
All right. I'm not going to dwell on this.
I don't want to either, but I just.
But if you want to go back and look at the budgets, what I'm trying to say there is that this panel is fixed for this budget for this event. All right. All right.
Can you get me those numbers?
Mr. Whaley, these numbers are presented every single month during this meeting.
No, they're not, I beg your pardon. If they the ones you ran through the first time, they ran through the screen, nobody could,
Which numbers did I run through the screen the first
the
time?
expenses for the Rockin' on Ridge.
This chart. This chart?
No.
Are you talking about these right there?
Talking
the
about that one
POs?
right there.
Okay, he's talking about the POs that were on July 2nd.
Okay.
Those are the ones I would like to see, and I would.
But I know,
Mr.
but-
Whaley, then I would encourage you to go to the website, because one thing this government is extremely transparent. Every single document is on this website. Exactly like, you'll see right down here, once we get to my reports, is the purchase orders for the last month. Every single month, we have a set of purchase orders to show you every purchase order, who approved it, and what the amount was for. Every month. Not to mention, we include the general road aid and utility profit and loss statements from every single line item in the city. This city is nothing less than transparent when it comes to the finances. I can't.
All right, did you go to April and show us the POs, Brandon?
Okay, this is supposed to be a report. You want to go to April to see
I
what?
want you to prove me wrong. That's what I want you to do. I want you to show me the POs for April.
Tell you what, why don't you come into my office? and
No,
we'll sit
I
and
want
go-
you to show me now.
This is extremely unprecedented, but I tell you what, Chris, I'm going to do this.
No,
No, this is extremely unprecedented and unorthodox, but you want to see purchase orders, I'm going to bring up the system.
no, Jim. No, please, I want you to,
No, you want to see purchase orders, I'll show you anything you want to see.
no, you're turning it around.
I'm not turning anything
Yes, you are.
around.
Go to April, go to the month of April minutes. And bring up the POs. I want you to prove me wrong, Jim. If you do, I'll apologize. I'm just saying, I just want to see it because, you know, am I smart enough to look on there and see?
Tell you what, you come and we'll have a discussion tomorrow, and we'll show you anything that you want to see. I am not going to waste everybody's time going back and doing research on the website or any other document that you are more than privileged and welcome to see.
Because I've already done it by now, but I'll do that.
Well, what about the parking lot, all repair on that? Is that part of the parking
Mr.
lot?
Bailey, those are also included in the purchase orders, and they're reflected in the profit and loss statements, and they are, they're audited at the end of the fiscal year.
What was the cost on it?
What was the cost on what?
On the 12 parking spots over there, where the dumpsters at?
You want me just to spout off every single cost that was incurred during that project?
Yes, I'd
I
like to
can't
see
tell
what it
you
costs,
that.
I'd want to see what it costs me as a citizen of Dry Ridge. I'm a taxpayer, I've got that right.
Okay, sir, and I'll tell you the same thing. We provide this information every single month. You're welcome to do an open records request if you want to see anything more than what we're presenting, but as I'm getting ready to show you, is the same thing we show you every month, is every single purchase order.
Yeah. But what you showed in April or May or whenever it was, when it ran through there, you can't show that now?
Yeah, I could go back month through month, but we are not going to spend 2 hours going line by line during a council meeting. If you want to do that, we can make an appointment. You two can both make an appointment, and we'll spend all day tomorrow going through every line and paperwork that you want to go through.
It won't take all day if you print it out. That's what computers are for.
Okay.
It's a great invention.
Halloween in the Park is coming up. That's it's going to be October 27th. It's the same as same venue as it was last year in Villa Park. Same time frame as last year exactly. This is in conjunction with the Grant County News and Grant County Tourism and Country Pumpkins. All right, Brent, do you have anything to claim?
No, sir.
Amy, I think you have something for the archives project?
Yes. One of the things that we need to think about, want to know if you guys want to put out for bid is some of our archiving. We are required to codify our records every 3 years. The last time it was codified was in 2014. I'm not sure that it even included it only included a portion of 2014 because it was past May of 14 when that was done. There is an expense with that. We also need to have our minutes, our ordinances, and our maps, all of our documents that are considered permanent records all need to be digitized and put on microfiche and put on record with the Department of Archives. They have those up to a certain point, but there are several years that are missing. I do not believe our maps that we have on record have ever been done that way. What I want to know from council is, do you approve us to put this out to bid? To do the maps, it is going to probably be over the $20,000 to do all the maps that we need to get digitized and get them in a format that can be put on microfiche. When they do that, to put them on microfiche, they go ahead and digitize them at that point. So it's not like we're getting them digitized to put them on microfiche, they have to digitize them to put them on microfiche. And then we'll have a digitized version of that also. There are just a few companies that do that. On the codification, they have used American Legal Publishing in the past. That's probably going to run us roughly about $5,000 to have that done. That is something that actually you should keep that stuff updated every year with them. And then they can do a republication every 3 years. I found when I got on board a bunch of books or boxes that are about this thick that had all these little pamphlets in it. They kind of looked like that in the front. Couldn't figure out what they were. Evidently you guys were, or the council was giving a codification book at one point, and these were supplements that should have been replaced and updated. I could not find a current updated codification. They were actually able to send me over a copy of what the current one is supposed to look like. So we are behind on getting some of this stuff done. If something were to happen to the building, our records would be gone, we would be in trouble because there is no documentation to reproduce those documents. And that's why they're on file with the Department of Archives. So that way, if your originals are considered permanent records are destroyed at your building, those are certified, you can take those and recreate your documents. So it is a little bit of expense, so we would like to put it out for bid to see what some of the other companies, I might even be able to try to find them. There's very few that do the American legal stuff, the codifications, but the actual archiving and putting on fish. There are two or three companies
Be certified in the state.
that will do that we can possibly get some pricing on. But we're looking at just rough estimates from a couple of them. We're looking at least $20,000 to get all that done on the records that we have.
I'll say 20,000 for the match, so between 25 and 30,000.
So you know what they're scanning.
That's part of it.
That's all right. We try to do.
There's enough back there that was found that there is no copies of. I mean, it would take, Brent and I worked on it for a week and got,
Yeah, not even.
I mean, a tenth of it. Not even, I mean, it's unreal. And then you've got, even if we got everything scanned in, and it would take a group of people months, then you still have to get it digitized, send it off, get it on microfiche, so.
Yes, the company that would be doing the scanning actually does that. They're certified, they would be certified to put on microfiche, so they would be doing it all in one step. We would not want someone who's not certified through the Department of Archives doing that for us. We would want them to be certified, so that way it could be all done in one step with that.
You'd be just looking for somebody to say, okay.
I just want to put it out to bid. I want to put out to bid, see what these other companies come back for. It is something that we're going to have to do, but I'm hoping that getting out to some other companies, it might come in a little bit cheaper, or at least for us to know that the one that we had talked to about this would be a possibility that we're getting the best price for. But right now, to me, it's keeping up with the records is it's vital. I mean, that is what my job is, and we are cutting lightly right now because not everything is at the Department of Archives. So if something were to happen, we had that tornado come through Crittenden a few years ago, something was like that to hit our building, we have a fire, we have something like that, we could be in big trouble not having all of our documents there.
Any questions?
I don't think we have much of a choice.
It's okay for us to put an RFP together and
I mean,
see what kind
I
of
would say
prices.
yes, we've got to look into it. And, I mean, speaking from somebody who's trying to help, it's an immense amount of work. Because there's 60 years worth of maps that we were trying to work through. You really don't know what was out there. It was found in a box out in the salt bin.
Some of it's molded, some of it's damaged by salt and water. That's one thing the company will take.
And none of that is in archive.
All right, so we'll go ahead and develop an RFP and get that out. All right, Brent, any questions?
Just activity and permits and corrective violations are they showing in the report?
Anything you want to summarize on that?
I'm saying,
Looking at it later.
yeah. Issue raised, there was 2, signing of consent permit, and corrective violations, I can't remember exactly, 12 or something, 9. I think they were corrected.
Any questions for Brent? Thank you, Brent. There's nothing new to report under alcohol beverage control. No new filings this past month. Under mayor's reports, I do have the purchase order summary. This is for the last month. Like I said, this was, I think I say this every single time. This is not presented in a format to go through and approve every single line item. This is presented in a format so that everyone can see exactly what monies are getting spent across the city. And then also the latest profit and loss statements for each of the line items throughout the city, so you can see what every income or what every line item. Like I said, we present this every month. Every single line item across the city and all the departments, they should match up with the budgets. There's that. There is the road aid, a much smaller fund. I think I explain this about every time. The only thing that this money can be used for is dealing with the roads for travel, mainly used for salt and things like that. And then the utility fund is water, sewer, and trash. That's all of those. And the profit and loss shows what we spent to date and what the budget was. All right. Like I said, we don't need to dwell on those, but those are provided for information. All right, moving on into old business. Item number 1. This is ordinance 851, 2018, establishing the property tax rate for 2018. We had the first reading on this at the last council meeting. There were some questions about the tax rate calculations. So try to just break this down. I think you got this by email. The only thing we're really trying to do here is make sure everyone understands what the motion was. The motion was to leave the rates the same as last year, which for the property taxes would be unchanged, but those rates would stay the same. So those revenues would roughly stay the same. On the personal property tax, which is more commonly known as the tangible, that's the tax that's paid on inventory, the goods that are in inventory, like the cups at McDonald's, the axles that are on the floor in production at Walmart, vehicles on the lot at the car dealership. Those are considered intangibles. That is the rate that this is talking about here. Last year's rate was set at .203. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger just so everybody can see it. Last year's rate was set at .203, and that generated $81,646 of revenue. To leave that rate the same for this year, it would generate $72,583, which is a reduction by a little over $9,000. And that's what I wanted to make sure you understood with what the motion was to leave it the same as last year. When these numbers are, Amy, you may be able to explain this a little bit better if there's more questions, but basically when these numbers are sent to, when we receive the valuations from the PBA's office, we send the numbers to the North Kentucky Area Development District, and they provide us with a compensation rate and then a comp plus 4 rate, which is statutorily as much as we are allowed to raise a tax rate is by 4% over comp without a vote, a referendum vote. And there's a lot more that comes into it. You can raise it as much as you want, but that comp plus 4 is as much as you can do without getting into a vote. And some public hearings and some other things. So they sent us those 3 numbers. At the last meeting, I think there was a question of what money that actually generated, and that's what I wanted to make sure that you had before we got into the second reading of setting this rate. But if the compensation rate is .220, that would generate a little over $78,000, which is still a reduction of a little under $3,000. And then the comp plus 4, which would raise that rate to .229, would generate $81,000, which would be about within $300 or $233 of where we were last year. So, like I said, this is just to give you the information that we didn't have at the last meeting when we had that first reading on it. So, for a
What can we raise it to bring us up to equal?
well, you can't raise it past the comp plus 4. To be equal, it's that comp plus 4 is about as close as you're going to get to that. It's going to be without $200 plus or minus. And Amy, you may be able to explain that a little bit better on how those numbers are actually generated.
Because whenever they go through, they try to look at, whenever they set those numbers, it's always based on trying to get the city the same amount of revenue that they had the previous year. So basically what happens is if your assessments go up, your rate goes down at what they tell you. If your assessments go down, your rate goes up. It's basically a math problem to get your number the same. So whenever I've seen these the last couple of years where they tell me my comp is supposed to come in real close, even on my real property, which is your houses and land and so forth, I'm still off by a couple $1,000s. It never gets, to me, what I consider equal. It's always off by a little bit, but I guess what they're looking at is getting you, I don't know if they have a formula, like you're supposed to get in within a certain window or something to that nature. The only thing you have to remember is whatever your revenue is going to be for this year, when they do rates next year, they're going to try to get you as close to what that revenue amount is again. So if you're saying, okay, in 2017 I had 81,000, but this year I'm going to have 72,000, well next year when they set your rate, they're going to try to get you at 72,000.
What's the budget set at?
We have it set at usually what we brought in the past, so it would be if they 81. I don't have the exact number on the budget sheet in front of me, but we always set it at what we would have last year, because each year that's what they try to do. They try to set, you should be budgeted to have the same amount of tax revenue each year. So if we do take it down to the 72,000 number, we are going to be under budget on revenues by that $9,000, because that's not what we budgeted. And I would have no way of bringing that in. I mean, I can only bill what the assessment is, so there's no way of making that up.
Like I said, this isn't an attempt to convince you to raise property taxes at all, but there was a lot of questions about what that number actually looked like with real numbers, and that's why I wanted to present this information. So, getting back to ordinance 851, 2018, I'll need a motion for passage of ordinance 851, 2018. Not until we have a motion in a second. All right, is there a motion to have the second reading establishing the property tax rate? Okay. So we have a motion, is there a second? Is there a second? Not going to die for lack of a second. All right, motion died. Motion fails. Is there a substitution? Ordinance 851. We'll have to start the process over with a new first reading if you want to make a change to it. We have to establish, we are required by statute to establish the property tax rate. This does have to be done as soon as possible.
They actually wanted on Friday, they went, or, yeah, last week, the 31st, they wanted it.
If you wanted to make a change and do it, we'll have to have a special meeting within 24 hours, or no earlier than 24 hours from today, to have a second reading on it.
There's no way we can go back to here. I mean, we almost have to be $4. I mean, that puts us within $200 what we have, or of what we budgeted for the revenue. I mean, as much as anybody hates to have to do that, this, I believe, is what we're gonna have to do. And raises almost 3 cents. 2.5 cents. But that will keep us at the rate of coming in about at just under $80.
So is that in the form of a motion?
Yes.
Okay, so your motion is to amend the presented 851 budget, or ordinance. We would amend the section for the tangibles from 229. I'm sorry, this is the wrong one, but it's supposed to be the 203.
Correct.
To the
203 to
229.
229.
Okay. That's form of a motion. Is there a second on that motion? Is there a second to that motion? Which would be leaving the property tax rate the same as last year and raising the tangibles to the comp plus 4 recommendation from the Northern Kentucky Area Development District. Not hearing a second, that motion also fails. Okay. I need a recommendation on what you want to do here because we are in a time frame.
Could you go back to this part, please?
To this chart or to the calculations from the Area Development District?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. This is just on tangibles. This is where the discussion was at the last meeting. Okay. Not until December 31st.
I have the assessments with me. That's why I want to This is why I know this. I know what I'm seeing now on October 1st. I know what I'm doing. I have the assessments. That's how I know what these numbers are. So I have those assessments. So I can take that rate times what our assessments are and tell you what the revenue is going to be. And that's what whatever rate you pick, that is what the revenue on the tangibles will be. Now, of course, that's stating that you're going to collect 100%. You never collect 100%. But that's what the potential revenue is on the assessed value of the tangibles that have been sent up to me by the PDA that I will do in October. It's usually not the same.
Last 3 years, we've taken comp, which has been a reduction. The last 3 years, just to stay the same. To save some money. This year was the first time that the comp actually works for property, but not for the person that lives on it.
I don't ever know they're doing the +4%.
But plus four, we've never done, not while I've been here.
Well, I don't think, ever since I've been here, I don't think we've ever done it. That's really
If you recall, I mean, you're not really 100% for sure that you're gonna receive that development, right?
No, that's not our revenue numbers for you.
But you don't know what your
100%.
people's inventory was going to
Yeah,
be.
no, that's what they would report the first of the year. When they did their taxes, that is the number that they gave to you. That they don't base this number on what their stuff is now. I get a tax roll in August, and that's what she tells me that it's as of that previous date. Just that's whenever the properties are done, those are done as of January 1st. Tangibles are done as of January 1st, when everybody's doing their taxes. That's what it's based on. Doesn't matter what they have now, it's what it was on that year. So I do know what their bill's going to be. I just don't know what rate you're going to assess on your people's assessments.
What are you recommending, Mayor?
I recommend, in my original recommendation to the council at the last meeting was that the property tax stayed the same and the personal property tax, at the comp plus 4 rate, keep it the same as it was, just to keep everything the same. That's what my recommendation was to the council, but, that's not what the council chose to do at the last meeting. I just wanted to make sure you had the information.
I think all these things you had, what, the comp plus 4 is actually, that's a motor vehicle tax.
No,
No.
no.
No, we haven't got to that yet. The comp plus, this is the tangibles tax. This is the tax that you pay on the inventory.
This is the inventory.
But actually, how much is it really, give me a sense of how much is.
Well,
2.5 cents at the home.
Well, it's 20 cents a hundred to 26 cents.
Right.
yeah, so
3 cents a hundred.
3 cents.
Less, a little less than 3 cents a hundred.
Actually, it's like 2.6 cents.
All right,
most of people's bills on these are very small. I mean, most of our businesses, there are a lot of tangibles, because there are people that you wouldn't think would have them, you wouldn't believe the number of addresses that I have at Walmart. It's not Walmart. I mean, it's everything they have in there, from cards to, all kinds of stuff in there that doesn't belong to Walmart or other companies, so there's small inventory. You're gonna have people, probably your bigger ones are your Dana, Walmart themselves, or any of their particular products that they have, but we have lots of small ones that are like under $100, enough of coupons of these bills that go out. So when you're looking at your property taxes, your real property, that really makes a difference. People have $100,000, $200,000 house, that's a big thing. But when you are assessing on $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, like a lot of my assessments, I have small numbers, I have stuff that's under $1,000 on my assessments. But you're looking at pennies. Some people laugh because we send out stuff that's an assessment under $1. Sometimes it costs me more to mail it than it does to have it on the collect.
all right, I hate to dwell on this, but we are on a time frame. Normally, if an item failed, it would just fail to go on, but we're statutorily required to provide this documentation, because it has to be available to Capta's office so that they can print tax bills before October 1st. Thoughts? We'll skip this item and come back. have to do is,
I mean, I'll bring every motion, but, unfortunately, I don't see any way around not +4 unless we're gonna lose money. But,
okay.
I mean, I'm not hearing, I don't know.
All right, so is that a form of a motion again?
Yes.
So this would be the same motion that was before, by Mr. Maddox, to set the property rate the same, and the only change would be the intangibles to .229. Is there a second for that? Second by Clay. All right, now is there any further discussion about that? Hearing none, can I have a roll call vote, please? We can leave the motion at 203, we just know that we have to make a budget amendment, because we have to take $10,000 out of the budget. We can't, it would be an unbalanced budget at that point.
Okay, that's anything we're gonna amend the budget, and what you may do well is something we're gonna bring in the budget.
All right, so I have a motion and a second. Can I have a roll call, please?
Persa? No. Kenny? Clay? Ron?
Yes.
Kenny?
All right, motion carries. So this will actually change ordinance 851, 2018, which will constitute a first reading. Can I have a first reading on that, please?
An ordinance of the city of Dry Ridge, Kentucky adopting the assessment made by the Kentucky Revenue Cabinet and/or the Grant County Property Evaluation Administrator as the case may be for the tax year of 2018 and levying an ad valorem tax for the tax year of 2018 upon all real estate and personal property together with all estate and interest therein and thereto, and levying a franchise tax upon all corporations not exempt by law therefrom, with the revenues had derived and generated from such tax to insure to the city's general fund and to be used for the due operation of the city of Dry Ridge, Kentucky.
All right, that'll constitute a first reading. I know that was a little unorthodox because we don't have to vote on the first reading. But we really needed to make a decision on which way to go with that. So with that being said, we will have to call for a special meeting later this week. Let's wait to the end of this agenda and we'll set that meeting. All right, moving on to the next item. Item number 2 is the ordinance 852, 2018. This is establishing the motor vehicle tax rate for 2018. This one was also a second reading, and this motion was to leave it the same as it had been for, I think someone pointed out, forever. So, is there a motion from the council to approve ordinance 852, 2018? Motion by Kenny, is there a second? Second by Ron. Any discussion? Hearing none, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Persa? Yes. Kenny? Clay?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
All right, motion carries 852, 2018. You have to have a reading for the first reading. All right, item number 3, ordinance 853, 2018. It's an amending the text for the A1 zone. This is also the second reading. The summary of this was the adding conditional use to agricultural 1 zone for RV campground. and that was conditional use, which meant it still had to go before the Board of Adjustments. All right. County, what's the council's wish on this?
Move to accept ordinance
All right.
853.
Motion to accept ordinance 853, 2018. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll say.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Marissa?
Yes.
Kenny? Clay?
Yes.
Ron?
Yeah.
All right. Ordinance 853, 2018, text amendment A1 zone is passed. All right, moving into new business. This is, I sent you some information in the email last Friday. It's about School Street, or the alley off of the back of School Street. And I know no one here in this room can tell me exactly what the thoughts were in the 1800s. However, Ron, do you mind turning the lights off there so we can kind of see? All right, here's where we're talking about on the PDA's map. It's this stretch of property right here where this street ends. All right. If you'll notice these black lines, these show the actual property boundaries for each of these properties. If you'll notice on all of these properties, they're highlighted, which means that's where those properties deeds, the calls for where the deed, the property boundaries are basically to that line. This section right here will come up and it shows no information. That's basically because it's not deeded to any person. It's considered a right-of-way or an alley. Now that's what we're talking about. Now you have to go back in your time machine here a little bit. But if you look at 13 School Street, this is the original deed from 1897. When that subdivision was created, and I'm pretty sure nobody was here to know what the intent was, but if you look in this line before it cuts off, it makes reference to fronting on the Covington and Lexington Turnpike. Said lots are located between Central and Northern Avenue and boundary by an alley on the northeast in lot number 19. This was the earliest reference that I was able to find of the alley, establishing what that alley was, and that was in 1897. Each of the deeds that you look at for all of the properties down through here, in their own way, a lot of them didn't change a lot of things other than the names, but each of them always reference, right here, it references the alley. These meets and bounds describe an alley at the rear of these properties. I guess what I'm trying to tell you here is that all of these properties, nobody owns that strip of land. Hello? But nobody owns that strip of land. It's always been, since it was originally plotted in the 1800s, designated as an alley. So with that being said, we even went back and looked at some of the old archives. This is the reason why it's important to archive stuff. But this is a picture from 1951, an aerial picture of the city, and this even shows this alley being used. This was the alley. This was how these people were to gain access to their properties. They had no frontage off of US 25, which at that time was called the Covington Lexington Turnpike. So when these were originally plotted out, they were plotted to have access from the rear of the property. So everything that we've found is that this is legitimately an alley. It's not somebody's property. And all of this kind of started from a couple requests on some residents on South Main Street that we could take care of that road in the wintertime for them. Now, right now, that road is, go back to this map, if you'll look at it, that road is gravel right here. So you can't really scrape the snow off of gravel. It just doesn't work really well. I think road guys can tell you they scrape more gravel than snow, or not enough snow to make a difference, or whatever the case may be. So basically what we're trying to establish here is this alley a responsibility of the city? And since there's a request by at least 6 taxpayers of the city to maintain the road that they use for egress and ingress, that are all taxpayers of the city, could the city have this 290 feet blacktop and maintained moving forward? Hopefully you got all of that out of that email. I know it was kind of brief. Mary, do you have that information?
It's typically $3.50 to $4.50 a square foot to pave the surface. Roughly 13,500, more or less. Could be a little less.
Now, one of the other things I want to point out is as anyone knows, when you're driving down through here, if you make this turn down here, you can go out and come right back onto 25 between these two buildings, this apartment building and this house. None of the deeds reference this as being part of the alley. And it makes sense when you plot this up with the PVA's record that the alley extends back to this property line and does not come this way. So my recommendation is not to pave anything past this curve. Is we would be setting a precedent of blacktopping on somebody's personal property. And we have no easements through there. We have easements through all of what this alley is, which was very typical for alleys to be where your east right-of-ways are for your water and sewer. Both water and sewer go through that passageway. If you need time to think about that, we can do that. But what I would recommend is that we pave that section of street down to the curb, and then break off the city maintenance at that point. But then include that into our road plan, and then start the process to name that section of street which doesn't have a name.
So their addresses are actually...
Their addresses are all South Main Street. I think we have a couple of residents here with us tonight, so. Well, I mean, we can put the project out to bid. What Barry's finding is it's under the procurement threshold, so we could just advertise it with get 3 bids and just take the lowest bid through the official advertising procurement procedure, or we could put that out to bid.
What you may find also to keep in mind is a lot of these blacktop companies are trying to get their work done before winter sets in. You do not want them laying blacktop in November. If anything, make them wait till spring next summer, but because you will have nothing but trouble out of it. Blacktop gets cold by the time. I mean, that's not a lot of blacktop, but still, if you're going to do it right.
Barry, how much is there a full lane there, and is there enough base for us to lay straight on top?
Yeah, you could lay straight on top.
Lay down base.
Be 10 foot wide, yeah, you could lay straight on top of it. There's no heavy traffic or anything on it. No semi-traffic, nothing like that. It's light vehicle traffic, but typically that's what you'll find in small jobs like this. Sometimes, I'm not saying all of them do it or they do it all the time, but they'll put you off till last, pushes you into November, and it's just, I don't know, I just don't like it when it's done that time of year.
Yes, sir.
I live right there at 48 South Main. And you might have gravel down there, because before you go around the curve there, it gets really rough.
when the blacktop company took a look at that, they would have to figure out what they would have to do as far as this subsurface, whether they could put gravel down or if there's enough of a base already.
Okay, but there's a washed out.
Yeah, there's a washed out spot there, yeah. And that would be in the area that would be what we would blacktop.
Yeah, right before the curve.
Yeah.
And that cost estimate's from high side, 13.5.
The workout place is behind 50. It starts at about 48 and goes down to 50.
All right. Council's thoughts?
You know that wash stop that you guys are talking, that's actually where we park. And I'm having to park at the church parking lot, risking towing because I can't winter time. Because, if I drive by myself, like if he goes to work and I'm trying to get out, it's like really hard. It's almost like, you're driving and then, you're really stuck. So I'm having to park at the church parking lot, risking towing the night before a storm.
I actually come home from work in Hebron to come and get her out of the field back there because it took her out there.
So, and then one time I called over here, I said, well, who owns this ruckus? Can we just pave it ourselves? And somebody over the phone said, do that, that's private property owned by the church. So I was like, okay, because, when you're trying to rush to go to downtown Cincinnati to work and you're stuck in there on your own driveway. So then I called my boss and she's like, just work at home. Or, just take a vacation day. And I did that.
Who's actually maintaining it right now?
No one. There's nothing that's been come by to put new gravel down, try and straighten it up, or even put some water levees in the road actually that disperse the water.
And then also, it's really dusty in there, just at the end of there's a 4-unit building in there next to 50 South Main Street. That's a 4-unit apartment building. So it's really dusty because everybody comes and goes, and then people get free. They go around and go there to go to like
They're actually affected too,
Yeah.
but we do know that that's not the city.
You feel like you live in
That would
Arizona,
have
you
to-
can
that
open
would
the
have to be on
windows.
the
It's really dusty.
landowner, and we don't even know who the landowner is anymore.
What's that? I'm sorry. But,
We were just saying, I don't ever remember it being done without. I don't even know who.
Years ago, I think Ken agree with me, in the city, we scraped that a few times when the snow got real bad, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
I think Bobby did,
Yes, sir.
if I remember right.
And we had that one before too.
We've been here for the past 3 years.
I'm sorry. I didn't-
You all did put gravel on that before?
Yeah, we've got a water line that goes right down the middle of it. So, yeah, we've dressed it up a few times. It's kind of uncommon for us to do that.
We scraped it a few times and the snow got real bad,
We've been,
couldn't get out, you couldn't get to that.
yeah, we've been there for the past 3 years, and nobody's even blinked an eye to come over and do anything with it.
all right, you want to put this, do you want to take action on it first of all? Second of all, do you want to put us out to bid?
I'd like to put it up to bid with some costs and see if there's any way they can do it before
And let's add this.
October, or whatever you're saying.
I agree with Kenny.
Yeah, it won't take, once they get there, it wouldn't take them no time to do it.
Right.
It's only 300 feet.
Do we have other projects that we've got coming up?
We ain't got nothing no worse than that.
No, I mean, my thought was they were going to do something else.
Yeah.
That would be, that's a call out expense for me, but then we could. Right.
Well, I would like to incorporate the sewer, if we do fix this, the sewer lid that's on the alley behind, coming from Dry Ridge Auto up back up to, like, there's a manhole there that we've got a plate on now that needs to be fixed. If we can somehow incorporate that into, this project would be great.
tell you what, let's get these ideas together. We'll get an RFP out for this, and then we'll have this back for the next meeting in September.
That'd be a good idea.
I'm not sure if we get a turnaround for the September because the advertisements, we've already missed the deadline for this week's papers. It's a holiday, so it won't advertise till next Thursday. It has to advertise for 7 no less than 21, so it'll be the first meeting in October before we would be able to approve. Make the approval.
Get that manhole fish, please.
All right, we're on a piece of
Take that section over.
All right, thank you. All right, item number 2 is new business. Amy, I don't know what you have to go on this. This just came in today.
We have a business that has sent us a letter asking us to waive penalty and interest for late payroll taxes that have been submitted. They were due on July 31st. We read them on August the 1st. The letter is here. They are aware of the deadline, and it are postmarked as she states on the opening remarks that she has. Her thing is that she wrote other checks on that day, and all of those checks had cleared and come back, and she doesn't know why ours did not. Again, we received it on August the 1st. We post everything, even if we don't get it posted that day, everything is marked, so it gets backdated the date it's actually received. So that is her request to waive the penalty and interest that they have been assessed for her payroll taxes.
All right, that request was received today, so I went ahead and added it to this agenda. This is that Pandora's box we opened at the last meeting by starting this kind of practice of allowing people to be late, and so it's fine, but I can't, we don't have a grace period. The ordinance states that the date, the due date is the date that it has to be here, otherwise it's late. Obviously, as you know, I don't have the authority by the ordinance to allow any discretion for this matter. The only recourse is to come before council.
They have 30, so it ends the month, so this would have ended on June 30th. They have until July 31st to get their return. So they have 30 days to do that and get their stuff done. So it's not like it ends on the 20th and they have to have it here on the 31st. There is a month's time frame. I know as soon as I process payroll on the last check that's going to be done with counties, I send our county in literally right after I do the last payroll for the month. We're getting to the next day. I'm sorry. See this?
You've already set a precedent from the last meeting. When that lady was in here,
Yes, sir.
I don't see how you can change it.
I think that's what the attorney warned you of at the last meeting.
Absolutely.
But I don't have the authority to waive the interest and penalty fees as prescribed in the ordinance, so only you can do that by accepting or waiving those. What is the discretion of the council? $74.16.
$74.46. Or 74.36, I'm sorry. No, it should be 46. You can type that one. You have to sweet letter. Yeah, it should be 46.
last one, I think we need to do it again this one, we said it's having a track one. When you do it for one, you gotta do it for all. Yeah, I'll do that.
And what would you not have a grace period? Or not grace period, but postmark.
Now here's my question for you. At what point is something even late? Because it could take maybe 3 weeks, it could take 4 weeks for something to come in. At what point do I proceed on collections? When do you consider something not here? I mean, and then think about your other utilities, think about your other bills. If you have a mortgage, you have a due date. My water bill with Queenstown is due on a specific date. If I don't have it there, it's late. My stuff that we have to pay here on electric was due. All of my bills with the county, I have a due date. I have a due date. If it's not there on that date, it's late. So all I'm going to ask is if you want to say we're going to take by postmark, then I need a specific time frame that says then it is late after this date. I can't be a willy-nilly and that's why we have ordinances that I don't make this decision. I go by what your laws are and I follow those. It's not my discretion, it's not my decision. It's by what you put in place. So all I ask is if you do that, I need to know more detail.
You better wait till the lawyer gets back.
The lawyer already told you his opinion last month.
Yeah. See, you open up a can of worms.
Because then, so if I have a postage machine up here, that I can go up here and I can change that date on there anytime I want to. And yes, you can. Most postage meters, you can make those dates whatever you want them to be. And most businesses have those now.
That's what you're saying.
Yes. And also, I've worked places where they have you go postmark it and you hold it on your desk until the money is there in your lap. It might be 2 weeks after it's due, but you try to get a postmark on and they pay that payment. So you will need to change your ordinance. I'm not telling you which way to go. I'm just saying whatever you do, I just need guidelines so that I can follow them properly.
You keep on doing this and everybody's gonna do it.
It's already started.
Everybody's gonna do it.
That's already established. That's a no-brainer, it's already established, last meeting.
And we have a lot of these. I mean, when we have these, like I said, it takes so long to get them posted that everything is stamped on the day it's received. It probably will take Karen 2 weeks to get everything posted and caught up. And so what she does is she says everything that's on time, she gets posted. Everything that's not, you go to another file because she has to send letters. You know, you were received on this date, you were late, this is what has to be done, and it's very time consuming. But we have piles. I'm not talking, we have piles that are late.
Which is better, knocking that $74 off or having a lawsuit? Which is gonna cost you the most?
Well, what if could we,
The only difference that I tell you in this one, and this is the only difference, is our ladies before stated she's never been late before, that was her first time. This one clearly states that they are aware of that they experienced this in 2015, that they were aware. You know, they wrote the check at 4:14 in the afternoon on the 16th, so you know it didn't go out until the 17th in the mail. To go out when she sent a copy of her check. I just need those back. I just can't have those out circulating in public so that is public information. They're all trying to with individual stuff. So. No, she wrote it on July 16th. Yes.
July 16th.
And at the bottom of her check, underneath the signature, you can see there's a date. It says 7/16/2018, 4:14:15 p.m. So that's, they have a date when it
They
was
don't
written.
know when it's made.
I'm gonna tell you, at least in most places, that was either dropped off that night when somebody went home or the next morning. You know what I'm saying? I doubt if it was, even at that time, depending on, unless it's right next to the post office, probably didn't go out in the 5 o'clock mailing, but it probably went out on the 17th. And we received it on the 1st, is when we received it. We have it posted against dead time on August the 1st.
All right, council? How do you want to proceed with this? Would you rather wait till legal counsel comes back?
I think we should.
Tell you what he's already, they'll tell you the same thing he already told you. All right, then I'll need a motion to table this item unless there's another. Yeah. Sorry, was there something? Okay, I need a motion to table. Motion by Kenny, second. Second by Clay, all in favor? Table this to the next regular meeting, not the special meeting that we're having on taxes. The regular meeting will be the first meeting in October. Show of hands, I'm sorry, I didn't see that. All in favor? All right, motion carries. All right, one last issue, and this is not similar to the other request. Ms. Knight?
Well, I don't have a podium, so I'm not real sure what I'm supposed to do.
Actually, no.
Okay. As many of you are aware, I own a building located at 26 Broadway, and I guess it's been close to a couple of years ago I purchased a home out on Cummins Lane, and I moved out of that. I still maintained, or not maintained, I still had clothing and some furniture and stuff in there that I didn't take to my new home. And at some point, a water line burst. I guess I need to be addressed many times. A water line burst in the kitchen, according to the insurance adjuster. And apparently, somewhere around 66,000 gallons of water emptied into my house from the ceiling. And I'm not certain of that number, but I think that's close. At any rate, I think Rob and maybe Barry, there were a couple of gentlemen who were out there, went through the house with me trying to figure out, what needed to be done, make sure it was an inside problem, not an outside problem. Of course, the ground wasn't soggy, so we were pretty sure it wasn't 66,000 gallons outside. At any rate, I don't remember the question that was asked, but basically, please turn off the water. What I didn't know was I needed to ask to have the account closed, even though the water was turned off and there was no water usage. It hasn't been, but I was still getting billed the $89 whatever per month. Unfortunately, because it's a vacant building, I'm still having a little trouble with my insurance company, but that doesn't really matter to you folks, except that I haven't resolved that issue. And I'm asking that you waive the fees or waive the water bill for the month that the water's been turned off, and I will be happy to pay the water that went through the pipe, and I'll turn it into insurance and they can either reimburse me or not. So apparently I needed to ask to close the account, and I wasn't aware of that. And that's my fault. I didn't understand what I should have done.
Anyone have any questions? We have, since, just to remind everyone, we have corrected this problem. We've changed the ordinance now that this will not happen in the future. And precedent was set that we corrected these up to this point. So moving forward, it won't happen, but we have corrected everything prior to this request.
How much money are you talking about here?
The amount and minimum bills and service fees is $1,800 $3.02.
That's what I would owe for the actual water that.
No,
we
ma'am,
treat.
that
Oh,
would
I'm
be the
sorry.
write-off amount.
Okay.
That would be the amount that was done. Your leakage amount should be in the 133502.
What did you say your insurance said?
I'm still arguing with them about coverage because it was vacant at the time. So I haven't turned any of this in yet because they're not covering much of anything at this point. But I wanted to get this resolved because I intend to turn it into an Airbnb. And of course, when the repairs are done, I'll get the water turned back on. And I want to be in good standing with the city, of course.
And now, Ms. Knight, the only thing that I do have is, I apologize, I stated the wrong number. The 133502 was the leak. That was the amount caused by the leak. There were 2 bills from previous that were unpaid before the leak would have happened. So the balance with those 2 items, those would be in there before. So I apologize if I could give you the correct number here to go down to that amount. That would be $1577.70 would be the amount, and then the difference would be what we would be requesting to be written off, would be the rest of what the minimum bills would be.
This one for $1577.70 is the leak plus the water bill.
That were the 2 water bills previous, yes ma'am. I believe that at one point there was maybe a tenant there right before that leak, that those were the 2 with outstanding bills after that tenant had left that were there, and then you had the leak, and then everything was then shut off, just not finalized in our system, literally closing your account, the water was just shut off for you.
And that's my misunderstanding. I didn't
Sure.
understand when the water was turned off, that
Right.
there was a difference.
Yes.
That's some of the language that is used internally to finalize a bill. And that's not commonly referred to outside of internal methods, so I can see where you wouldn't understand that.
And for those reasons, we're trying to make sure to clarify that with people, trying to let them know what does that mean? That you still want to get a minimum bill and leave your account open, or do you want it completely gone? You know, again, no more minimum bills. A lot of people do not understand that. $1739.92 would be the write-off if we were to adjust the
You say 17?
Yes, 17, because the difference, I didn't have the 2 water bills when I had the other one, so the write-off is $1739.92.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Knight? All right, what's the recommendation of council?
You said you had a leak. How many gallons was that?
66,000.
Actually, it was 66,500 gallons.
That means 66,000 did not go in the sewer then. It didn't go in the sewer. So we didn't have to pay sewer on that, did we?
I don't know where that water went. When it's inside, I don't know. I mean, if it's out in the ground and someone has a leak in their pipe to their home, I can say it doesn't go. When it's inside a home, I don't know if it seeps into wood, into your walls, if it goes down a drain. I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know if any of that did go down a sewer. It's very possible none of it went down a sewer, but I can't answer that question. I don't know which portion would have or would not.
Well, I can tell you that a lot of the wood and drywall absorbed a lot. There's
I'm
no
sorry.
rain. Unfortunately, it ruined, those antique hardwood floors and things. But no, I don't believe that it did go down the sewer. But whatever your own
If
decision.
they run out the door, you run out the door.
Mr. Crupper, I really thought that the basement might be a swimming pool, but that wasn't the case. I don't know where the water went because, like I said, when we realized it and walked around, the ground wasn't especially soggy, but it wasn't in the house.
Did one of the city boys go out there and look at it, try to find it?
Oh,
You did? You couldn't find where the water went either?
no, it was inside the house for the big one.
Inside of the house.
Yeah.
The water went through the meter, didn't it?
Yes.
Did it go to the meter? Yes. Because the leak was inside the house.
Just go ahead, I mean,
Is it
go ahead,
possible,
work.
is it possible it didn't go through the sewer, that it went to a drain?
Like she said, most of the utilities in there, I mean, drywall, the ceiling, had absorbed quite a bit of it. I mean, and I don't know how much you can clean up of it, but I know today I
Well,
walked in
floors
there.
are gone, and the ceilings are gone.
Yeah, it was in the house, I mean,
All right, well, what's the final council?
Well, I think probably there was some kind of break there, I don't know exactly what. Probably there was some kind of break, if the water didn't go in the sewer, we didn't have to pay for it, and so it didn't cost us nothing. Of course, I know the water bill went up, 66,000 gallons, or whatever it was.
you say you
How
were
much?
pay the, water bill, just, except for what was added onto it afterwards, is that what you was
Say
getting
it
at?
again.
Was you saying that you was paying the water bill, but not, you was seeing if you could take off what the,
The minimum bill.
All, yeah, the service
There
fee.
was,
service.
there was no use, naturally, after it was shut off.
yeah. you were
But I was
asking-
billed that, and I'm asking for that to be adjusted. Because it was my misunderstanding that I thought when I asked for it to be shut off, there would be no more billing. But I like what Clay's saying as far as the sewage is
So
concerned.
let's treat each one of these independently, if you will.
Okay.
So let's discuss, writing off the service fees and the interest, like we did on, and the minimum fees, like what was done with Mr. Gordon, and I think at the last meeting, we did 2 other write-offs as well. So that being the first item, do you want to write that off?
I think we should.
All right. In form of a motion, is there a second?
I'll make a motion to that.
Okay, is there a second?
give me the dollar amount.
That amount that's being written off. Yeah,
1779.
1739.
1779.
1739. 92.
Okay, I got a motion, is there a second? Second by Krista, all in favor? Okay. All right, motion carried, so that is written off. Now, the second item is the amount of water that's remaining, the bill that's remaining. Do you want to write off the sewer portion of that as well? The second item.
I do.
Is that in the form of a motion?
That is.
All right, is there a second to that motion?
What now, the sewer?
Well, depends on what you want to do. Your sewer amount is $906.23. That would also then adjust your sales tax and utility tax depending on what you would give that. So depending on if you made it to a minimum bill, if you wrote it off completely, if that, I can't give you a dollar amount because you guys decide exactly what you want. The minimum bill on that residence for sewer would be $52.89. bill for that spot is $52.89, minimum on the sewer. It was $906.23 is what the charge was. So depending on if you wanted to take it down to a minimum or if you wanted to write it off completely.
But when the two previous bills,
The two previous bills would still stand on what they were, because those were still active before this even occurred.
So the only thing you'd be writing off would be the leak of the 65,000 or 66,500 gallons in the sewer, just the sewer portion of that, which was the $906, and then the fractional part thereof of sales tax and school pool.
If you left it at the minimum of the $52.89, you would write off $853.34. So your choices are write off $906.23 or write off $853.34, make it a minimum bill. And then I would adjust the corresponding sales tax to go along with that on the sewer portion.
Never call in and send it or not, correct?
Correct. Yes, so whenever she was, when Ms. Knight was answered, she wanted it shut off. Again, we try to make sure that customers know this, because it is very confusing. When we ask, do you want it finalized, do you just want it shut off, we explain to them what that means. And unfortunately, Ms. Knight and I did not have a conversation. She spoke with the maintenance department, and I think there was a miscommunication in what everything was.
But we've already cleared that
Right.
problem up.
Right.
We just need to know what the council wants to do on writing off the sewer portion of that bill, which I'm sure Ms. Knight would very graciously appreciate.
Very much. Especially if my insurance is going to fight me all day.
So there was a motion, I'm sorry, did we have a second on that?
I need to clarify what Clay's motion is, because he has a motion to write off sewer. What amount, what portion of the sewer is your motion?
I thought it was the 66,000 gallons.
Do you want to write off the entire balance?
Which is
On that bill?
Yeah.
Which is $906.23. Okay,
Yeah.
right off.
Okay, so the motion is to write off the entire balance of the sewer. Is there a second for that motion? Second by Carissa. All right, can I have a discussion? Yes, discussion. Is there discussion?
Yeah, I'm still confused about the 5289.
That would be a minimum bill.
Should we get that in?
Sewer. Say you ran it back to just figure your normal usage, or it would be 52.
Yes. Yes, since we didn't have it closed out, if on that usage, if that account was still active at that point, when that went in, that's what the bill would have been. If there had been zero usage because it had been active, it would have been the minimum of the 52. Yes.
So what we ought to really be writing off
Is
is
800.
gate 53,
Yes.
if we're gonna do the write off the sewer.
Yes.
You would take it back to a minimum bill.
I think
at
that's
that
fair.
point.
She's going to get the 52 bill anyway.
With that being said, is there a second to Clay's motion to write the entire sewer portion off?
I thought she said that.
And then your second,
So now I'm confused.
so
There was a motion.
Carissa would like to rescind her second, correct?
All right. You can do a friendly amendment here. It would probably be cleaner just to have a new motion for that.
I'd like to make a motion.
Your motion failed for lack of seconds.
I just want to put it down proper.
but you're gonna do it there.
Okay.
I just make a motion to write off $853.84 for the lights.
853.84.
I'm sorry, $853.84.
That's what I meant, 2,380. I just want to make sure.
Was that the sewer part?
Yes.
Of the 66,000.
I just want to make sure, I just want to double check on that.
That'd be a total write-off,
Yeah, 853.
25,903.
That's okay. Is it okay if I change that motion?
853,
34.
34.
Is that your motion? All right, is there a second to Chris's motion to write off the 853.84? This is good. Second by Clay. Is there discussion? Hearing none. Can I have a vote on that?
Yes. Marissa?
Yes.
Kenny? Clay?
Yes.
Ron?
No.
Okay.
Motion carries. Thank you. So the total write-off on that will be $25,903.76.
And
I
I
would
will
want to know,
adjust.
how much can I pay you, or do I need to come up tomorrow during regular hours?
Would you mind if either come up tomorrow or can I call you? Just so, because I want to make your adjustment to the sales tax on
That's
that
fine.
adjustment for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, one last thing, we have to set the date for special meeting for that second reading. Does anyone, we have to do that before Friday? And we have to do at least 24-hour notice to meet all the things, so it looks like Thursday's gonna be our day. Thursday.
It's gonna be a meeting then.
We'll need to have a special meeting to have the second reading on the, let's see what it was. Ordinance 851, 2018, it's setting the tax rate.
No way you can bring that back up tonight.
No. There has to be a 24-hour notification of the change. If legal counsel was here, I don't know of any way to do that. The only way that you can do that is to go back and approve the reading, the ordinance the way you had it originally set. He won't be back by Friday.
So when you gonna do it Thursday?
We have to do it by Thursday to have it to the county in time.
Well, no, I'll only pass it. I'll do that.
Well, yeah. Yeah, well, we can't take that to the county. Will Thursday work for a special meeting? Anytime what time is good?
I'll be at work.
On the evening? Can we do a lunchtime meeting? Can you do a lunchtime meeting? Can you do a lunch hour meeting?
Yes, sir.
Clay, can you do lunch Thursday? You bring mine?
Sure, why not? Okay, so schedule a special meeting, council. The only item on the agenda will be ordinance 851, 2018, and that will be Thursday, September 6th at 12 o'clock, good?
12 o'clock and
High noon? High noon. All right, I'll text everybody, or I'll send everybody a text message that morning. I'll do it. All right. There's no further business.
Move to adjourn.
Okay.